Ankoso. sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Aramgir. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Aramgir. Jalsa Salana Gara. Ankoso. Jalsa Salana Gara. Ankoso. Jalsa Salana Gara. Ankoso. Jalsa Salana Gara. Ankoso. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Gara. Ankoso. Jamaat Ahmadiyya Gara. Ankoso. Naam Ahmad ki. Naam Ahmad ki. Naam Ahmad ki. Naam Ahmad ki. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. His Excellency the President of Ghana. His Excellency the President of Ghana. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Majlis Asarullah. Majlis Asarullah. Majlis Asarullah. Majlis Hudam Ahmadiyya. Majlis Hudam Ahmadiyya. Majlis Hudam Ahmadiyya. Najla Imayla. Najla Imayla Ghana. Nare Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Islam Ahmadiyya. Jalsa Salana Ghana. Jalsa Salana Ghana. Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh. Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Ghana. 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 Islam Ahmadiyya. Islam Ahmadiyya. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Jalsa Salana Ghana. Jalsa Salana Ghana. Majlis Ansarullah Ghana. Majlis Ansarullah Ghana. Majlis Hudam al-Ahmadiyya. Majlis Hudam al-Ahmadiyya. Lajna Imayla. Lajna Imayla. Ghana. Ghana. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Amir Nigeria. Amir Nigeria. Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh. Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. President of Ghana. President of Ghana. Islami Ahmadiyya. Islami Ahmadiyya. Ghana. 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 Takbir. Ankoso. 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 Ankoso.
Islami Ahmadiyya.
Ankoso.
Ghana.
Ankoso.
Ghana.
Ankoso.
Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh.
Onyicha.
Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh.
Onyicha.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Onyicha.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Onyicha.
Ghana.
Ankoso.
Ghana.
Ankoso.
Ghana.
Ankoso.
Islami Ahmadiyya.
Ankoso.
Islami Ahmadiyya.
Ankoso.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir.
La ilaha, la ilaha, la ilaha, la ilaha,
Takbir.
la ilaha,
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
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 Takbir.
Good morning. I wish all of you the bountiful blessings of Allah, and I greet you with a Muslim greeting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I can see that we are very much ready for the commencement of the Jalsa, so we may resume our seats. His Excellency will definitely address us, so there is no cause for worry. We've spent some time already, so we will not waste any more time. I will go on to invite one of our brothers, as we do every year, for the commencement of our Jalsa, a recitation from the Holy Quran. This time, we would like our brother Hafiz Molvi Ismail Edusei to come and recite a portion from the Holy Quran for the commencement of our 92nd annual Jalsa Salana.
قرآن كسو أياهم تني وبصر كسا بون دبيس يا يدي من يانو قرآن كسا أياهم تني أتوبا يا مركزو أبدا أصرف أيدي Oya mere kasa abodi na wonteli Oya mere kasa abodi na hum yekum Obosoro pasere kasa Bawona dewiasia tezi minian Oya mere kasa Aya wonteli Okanko ya mere kasa Osura ayezi Onamdemiti Mobiarante, Oyamen Sampapurana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها وإذا حكمتم بين الناس أن تحكموا بالعدل إن الله نعم ما يعظكم به إن الله نعم ما يعظكم به إن الله كان سميعا بصيرا يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم فإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله فإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر ذلك خير وأحسن
أحسن تأويلا. Translation. Verily, Allah commands you to make over the trust to those entitled to them, and that when you judge between men, you judge with justice. And surely, excellent is that with which Allah admonishes you. Allah is all hearing, all seeing. O ye who believe, obey Allah and obey His Messenger and those who are in authority among you. And if you differ in anything among yourselves, refer it to Allah and His Messenger if you are believers in Allah and the last day. That is best and most commendable in the end. This has been taken from the 4th chapter of the Holy Quran, Surah An-Nisa, verses 59 and 60. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Nara Takbir! Jalsa Salana Ghana! Habib Ismail Adusai! Nara Takbir!
The beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran will be followed by a recitation of an Urdu poem by Ilyas Adam, who is a student of Jamia Ahmadiyya International, Ghana.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. The following is the English rendering of an Urdu poem written by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salam, the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. To accept the truth when it has manifested itself is the trait of the righteous. This is the prudent way. To adopt the useful and to shun what is evil, this is wisdom and sagacity. It is insight and wit. The messengers had always wept on the heedlessness of the heedless. But in this age, O people, this is the newest lament. That pure one does not teach us foul language. This is the root of God-fearing. This is honesty and purity. That beloved revives the faith through marvels. Hasten, O ye who are stumbling. This is the staff or support of faith. Now the poem in Urdu. जब खुल गई सच्चाई फिर उसको मान लेना नेकों की है ये खसलत राहें हया यही है जो हो मुफीद लेना जो बद हो उससे बचना नकलो खिरद यही है, फहमो ज़का यही है। गफलत पे गाफिलों की रोते रहे हैं मुरसल, पर इस ज़मां में लोगों नौहा नया यही है। हमको नहीं सिखाता वो पाक बदज़ुबानी, तक़वा की जड़ यही है, सिद्क़ो सफ़ा यही है। करता है मुझों से वो यार दीन को ताज़ा, इस्लाम के चमन की बातें सबा यही है। ये सब निशान हैं जिनसे दी अब तलक है ताज़ा, ऐ गिरने वालों दौड़ो दीन का आसा यही है। ऐ गिरने वालों दौड़ो दीन का आसा यही है। Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. With the beautiful recitation of this Urdu poem, the stage is now set for the official opening of this year's Jalsa, the 92nd Annual National Convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana. And this is to be conducted by no less a person than our own revered Amir Al-Hajj Maulana Nur Muhammad bin Saleh, who is also the missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana. I wish to humbly invite Amir Sahib to the podium to deliver his welcome address and also to follow it up with an opening dua. Amir Sahib.
Nare Takbir! Maulana Nur Muhammad bin Saleh, Amir Jamaat Ahmadiyya Ghana, 92nd Jalsa Salana Ghana. Nare Takbir!
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. The inaugural address, and for that matter, the opening address of our conventions are always the message that we receive from our supreme spiritual worldwide leader, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Al-Khamis Ajadahullah Ta'ala Nasrul Aziz. On this occasion, I'll therefore read the message that our spiritual leader has sent to us, after which I'll deliver a very brief welcome address. Dear members of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Ghana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm very pleased that you are convening your 92nd annual Jalsa Salana on 9th, 10th and 11th January 2025. It is my prayer, may Allah bless your Jalsa with great success, and may all those attending again, and may all those attending gain immense spiritual blessings, and may you increase in goodness, piety, and righteousness. In my Jalsa address to you last year, on the occasion of the centenary of the establishment of the Ghana Jamaat, I reminded you as follows. As you move forward, you must pay close attention to your duties and appreciate that where reaching your centenary is a means of happiness for you, it also places a heavy weight of responsibility upon your shoulders. It must not be that having reached this milestone, you now sit back and relax. Rather, as the Ghana Ahmadiyya Muslim community enters its second century, it is the duty of every Ahmadi Muslim to strive earnestly to ensure its continued progress and prosperity. You must endeavor to convey the message of true Islam to every single person in your country. Seek to win the hearts and minds of your people through love and compassion. I hope that over the past year you have tried to focus on your obligations and made efforts to fulfill your responsibilities by following my words of instruction and guidance, and that you will continue to do so. I also inform you that in order to invite people towards Islam, Ahmadi Muslims must ensure that they are foremost in following its teachings, and that can only be achieved if we associate ourselves fully with the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam. Only by attaching ourselves to him can we comprehend the rights of Allah the Almighty and the rights of his creation. Only then can we do justice to these twin principles that lie at the heart of Islamic teachings. Only then can we become guarantors of peace in the world at every level of society. Only then can humanity bring an end to the incessant warfare and disorder that is increasingly plaguing the modern world. Keep in mind that the task of Khilafat Ahmadiyya is to further the mission of the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam. When Ahmadis pledged bayah on the hand of Khalifatul Masih, it also important that they endeavor to fulfill their pledge. If each member of the Jamaat were to sincerely follow, instructions and directions given by Khalifatul Masih, the highest standard of obedience and unity would be created, and as a result the Jamaat would progress significantly in its aim to bring mankind back to the worship of the one God and establish peace and harmony in the world. Therefore, as Ahmadi Muslims, never forget who you are and what you represent. It is our great fortune that the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam has illuminated the path of conduct we should follow in the form of the 10 conditions of bayah, which should guide and direct us at every moment of our lives. Remember, only by adhering to these conditions can we ensure that we can raise aloft the spiritual torch given to us by the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam and shine a light upon the path of true righteousness for others to follow. To achieve these aims, you must constantly strive to improve your spiritual condition. Using all your faculties and capabilities, you should increase your religious knowledge and understanding of our beliefs and attempt to improve your actions and behavior to the level that the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam expected from the members of his Jamaat. Only by constantly self-assessing yourself and trying to become even better Ahmadi Muslims will you have achieved the purpose of attending this Jalsa Salana. In conclusion, I repeat what I said to you before. Now is the time to come forward and pledge with absolute determination and resoluteness that you will forever seek to bring about all the pure changes required to fulfill the conditions of the oath you have taken with the promised Messiah, peace be upon him, inshallah. If you do so, you will be a means of conveying Islam to others, and they will draw your fellow citizens and indeed people across the world under the shade of true Islam. May Allah grant you opportunity to follow my words with all sincerity, and may you be able to create a true spiritual revolution in the world. May Allah grant you every success in his noble task, and may he bless you all. Wassalam, yours sincerely, signed Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih Al-Khamis, Khalifatul Masih the Fifth.
Nara Takbir! Nara Takbir! Khilafat Ahmadiyya! Khilafat Ahmadiyya! Khalifatul Masih Khalis! Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Khalis! Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Khalis! Nara Takbir! Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad! Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad! Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad! Nara Takbir! Jalsa Salana Gara! Jalsa Salana Gara! Nara Takbir! Nara Takbir! Nara Takbir! Akbar!
Brethren, after conveying the message of our spiritual leader, I now proceed to deliver my welcome address to all of you. Your Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, former members of Council of State, the great chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Honorable Asedu Inketia, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Your Royal Highnesses, including our Royal Highness from Nigeria, who is here to join us on this occasion, Nananum, Nime, and Name, revered religious leaders, invited guests, our Muslim brethren. I stand here on behalf of all Ahmadi Muslims of Ghana and on behalf of my humble self to extend to you all, the distinguished ladies and gentlemen gathered here, the unique Islamic salutation of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you all. I also stand on behalf of the Ghana Muslim Conference. The Ghana Muslim Conference, the umbrella grouping of all Muslims of this country, to wish you a happy and prosperous New Year. Your Excellency, kindly accept our heartfelt congratulations on your assumption of the highest office of this land. About this same time last year, Your Excellency, you stood on this very spot where I'm standing now. And very soon, in a few minutes' time, you will be standing here again. Last year, you stood here in your capacity as the flag bearer of the new patriotic party.
That's not a
Somebody is saying behind me there that it is because of allergy. But he only can explain what he means by that. Your Excellency, last year you stood here in your capacity as a flag bearer of the NDC, National Democratic Congress of Ghana. You stood here with a demeanor which was self-effacing, a gracious and polite demeanor. Your Excellency, you presented yourself to us with a request that we the people of Ghana, we entrust you with the mandate to be the president of our beloved country, Ghana. Your Excellency, you did not stop there. In your request for God's guidance and blessings in your march towards this high office, you traveled all the way to London to meet our spiritual leader, Khalifatul Masih V. May Allah be his helper, with the humble request for prayers for Allah to grant you success in this endeavor. Through the sheer grace of Allah, your humble supplications were accepted by Allah with the crowning of your humble efforts with grand success. Today, by the grace of Allah, and just like last year, and regardless of your very heavy schedules in these initial crucial days, having been sworn into office only the day before yesterday, you have again honored our invitation. Your Excellency, you will shortly be standing again on the same spot that you stood last year, this time around, not as a flag bearer. You will be addressing us as the President of the Republic of Ghana, and not in the capacity of an aspirant. Mr. President, you will be addressing about 50,000 Ghanaian Ahmadiyya Muslims from all the nook and cranny of this country, including our numerous majestic traditional leaders, as well as very many other high-profile guests invited to this function. Your Excellency, let us go through a little bit of history. The Magna Carta, also known as the Great Charter, is said to be a foundational document in the history of democracy and the rule of law. The Magna Carta was originally issued in the year 1215 in England. The purpose for the issuance of the Magna Carta was to establish certain legal rights and principles. Legal rights and principles established that were to engender the arresting of the misuse of power. It was meant to arrest the misuse of power. It was also purported to see to the limitation of the vast, unlimited power of the monarch of that time. Your Excellency, distinguished brethren, the Magna Carta was created during a time of political conflict between King John of England and a group of rebellious barons who sought to address grievances related to abuse of power, grievances related to corruption, grievances related to heavy taxation, grievances related to flexing of muscles in a show of power drunkenness and arbitrary justice. They also sought protection for the citizenry against unlawful imprisonment and the right to fair trial. Distinguished brethren, a very important clause contained in the Magna Carta included the principle that no one, including the king, was above the law. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if it is true that history repeats itself, if that adage is true, and if it is true that history has any lesson at all for us to learn from? If this is also true, then they say that those societal challenges that call for the birth of the Magna Carta of England in 1215, those are the same societal ills that have so far engulfed and plagued the governance of our dear country Ghana today. Your Excellency, therefore, with your election to this high office of President, under these turbulent circumstances in the history of our country, you could as well have been elected with the expectation of your compatriots that perchance you become the embodiment of the Ghana version of our Magna Carta, to ensure that human rights are withheld, to ensure the unnecessary display of power is curtailed, to ensure that governance is brought down to the level of the ordinary man and woman, and to ensure that governance is meant for the good and for the welfare of the people who are governed. Mr. President, the goodwill that Ghanaians have shown you through emphatically endorsing you as president must be seen to have spoken loudly that we Ghanaians are no more in the mood of giving the abuse of our emotions and the trampling upon our rights. We are no more in the mood of giving them to God. At this time of our history as a people and as Ghanaians, we are demanding justice, and we will continue demanding justice if we must have peace. We are demanding pragmatism. Your Excellency, we, the people of Ghana, are demanding nothing less than pragmatism. Pragmatism, which is a human pursuit of practicality over and above aesthetic qualities. Pragmatism, which is a concentration of facts rather than emotions or ideals, or for that matter, empty noise and deceitful promises only. Ghanaians have taken a cue, Your Excellency. We Ghanaians, we have taken a cue from a sentence in the song of an American musician, in which he says that money can't buy me love. That regardless of what money you have, regardless of how much money you give me, but let me remind you that that money can never buy me love from you. That is what Ghanaians have demonstrated. The theme of our convention this year, Your Excellency, is justice and peace, the essential ingredients for national development. In our country today, all the prevalent disorders and inherent dangers to the nation's peace spring from the concept of nepotism and cronyism, our version of the obnoxious racism. The obnoxious racism which once existed in Nazi Germany. Our version of it is nepotism and cronyism. While racism is the root cause of distinction between different nations and tribes, the end result of nepotism, I would want to pledge for and behalf of all the Muslims of this country that, going by the teachings of Rasul Karim Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the word of Allah, which is the Holy Quran, we are encouraged to vie for whatever positions are available. But at the same time, that we must keep in mind that at the end of the day, only one of us will win. And that when one wins, hostilities must cease immediately. And each and every person must rally around the person who has been elected and give him all the necessary support to ensure that he is successful. Because his success will be your success as a people. Therefore, I want him to rest assured that he has our solid support. I say this without looking back. And I say this for and on behalf of all the Muslims of this country. With this, therefore, is to tell you, Your Excellency, that our prayers are with you. Our prayers will continue to be with you. We'll continue to pray for you that Allah grant you a long life, healthy long life of prosperity. We'll continue to pray for you that Allah will continuously put the love of your fellow compatriots in your heart. We'll continue to pray for you. That Allah should guide you and guard you, so that at no point in time you insult the emotions of the people of Ghana. Your Excellency, is a very big trust, and we have entrusted you with that trust. Rest assured that we will do whatever within our means also to help you to deliver. On this note, I invite all brethren to join me in a silent prayer to declare this year's Jalsa started and over. Let's say dua. Amin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.
Jalsa Salana Ghana, 92nd Jalsa Salana Ghana. Holy Amir Nur Muhammad bin Saleh. Nare Takbir. Allahu Akbar.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are most grateful to our most revered Amir and missionary in charge, firstly for conveying to all of us the message of our beloved Imam Hazrat Khalifa to Messi Al-Hamis Ayadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasri Al-Aziz, and also for delivering such a powerful opening address which goes to address the expectations of Ghanaians, and also not only to expect so much from the president, but also do our bit to support him, to assist him to deliver on his mandate. We are most grateful to Amir Saab. On this note, we would like to request for a song of praise from the Central Region. So if our brothers from Central Region are around, we request them to give us a song of praise.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Amen. Victory will surely come. Ghana will never be the same. Victory will surely come. Ghana will never be the same. Pray for your mother Ghana. Victory will surely come. Pray for your motherland. Victory will surely come. Victory will surely come. Ghana will never be the same. Victory will surely come. Ghana will never be the same. Pray for your mother Ghana. Victory will surely come. Pray for your mother Ghana. Victory will surely come. Remember your mother Ghana in all your dealings. Remember your mother Ghana in all endeavors. Pray for your mother Ghana. Victory will surely come. Pray for your motherland. Victory will surely come. Victory will surely come. Ghana will never be the same. Victory will surely come. Ghana will never be the same. Pray for your mother Ghana. Victory will surely come. Pray for your mother Ghana. Victory will surely come. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be tonati. Biri biari ye kai Ghana. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be tonati. Biri biari ye kai Ghana. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be tonati. Biri biari ye kai Ghana. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be tonati. Biri biari ye kai Ghana. Adari ye babu wani. Asamaleke ye babu wani. Ehwere ka leyi wanka. Biri biari ye kai Ghana. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be ye. Oh, money Ghana be tonati. Biri biari ye kai Ghana. Let's love Ghana. Let's help Ghana. Love for your country is part of your faith. Let's love Ghana. Let's love Ghana. Love for your country is part of your faith. In all your dealings, in all endeavors, let's look for peace, for better Ghana. Let's love Ghana. Let's love Ghana. Love for your country is part of your faith. In all your dealings, in all endeavors, let's look for peace, for better Ghana. Let's love Ghana. Let's love Ghana. Love for your country is part of your faith. Why do you fight your neighbor every day? Let's look for peace, for better Ghana. Let's love Ghana. Let's love Ghana. Love for your country is part of your faith. Woman you no Ghana, woman you no Ghana, woman you no Ghana, me so many be ya you know. Woman you no Ghana, woman you no Ghana, woman you no Ghana, me so many be ya you know.
Thank you very much, Central Region, for the patriotic songs that have been sung this afternoon, calling on each and every one of us to remember our dear nation in prayers, and not only to pray, but also to act in a way that will fasten the progress and development of the country and make it better for all of us. Like Ami said, this can never be achieved, or these cannot be achieved without justice and peace, which is why we have chosen for this year's Jalsa the theme, justice and peace, the true ingredient for national development. Having chosen this theme, we definitely need someone who has the requisite knowledge to speak to the theme. And this is no less a person than justice. The theme is justice and peace. And our father who is to deliver the address on this subject is also called Justice Said Kwakujan. He is the Naib Amir III of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana. Your Lordship, I humbly invite you to the podium to address us on the theme for the convention. Harry Takbir.
Allahu Akbar. Said Kwakujan. Jalsa Salana Ghana. Allahu Akbar.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين Maulana Nur Muhammad bin Saleh, our revered Amir and missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana, the honored chairman of this occasion of the 92nd National Convention of the Ahmadiyya community in Ghana, our most distinguished guest for today, who is none other than the former president of Ghana, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, who served a first term and by the grace of Allah has been returned to the presidency to serve a groundbreaking second term following a spectacular and decisive victory in Ghana's 7th December 2024 general election. The National Executive Council and members of the Ahmadiyya president, as well as elected or re-elected members of parliament here with us, our noble traditional and religious leaders herein present, the members of the diplomatic corps who as usual are doing us the honors by gracing our national annual convention, our precious invited guests from all over the world present here today, the respected members of the press, my beloved brethren of the glorious Islam who are here today in their teeming thousands, and indeed my most distinguished ladies and gentlemen, who by Allah's divine grace and mercy are all gathered here at this sacred conference ground. Please permit me this today to heartily salute you with the blessed greetings of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, grace, and blessings of Allah be upon you. Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, grace, and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Amir Chairman, this year's convention is clearly a unique one. It is the very first national convention being held after last year's most spectacular and momentous centenary celebration of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana, which took place at these very grounds. More significantly, it heralds the onset of a new dawn in Ghana, coming only 2 days after the swearing in of a new and the 6th president, as well as the installation of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana on 7th January 2025. Amir Chair, many had wondered whether it was safe and wise to fix this year's annual convention only 2 days after the scheduled inauguration of a new president, and especially against the backdrop of a perceived tension-clouded general election scheduled for the 7th of December 2024. The fact that the convention has started today as planned is a divine mercy and the clearest testimony of the faith and belief in our motherland Ghana by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, as well as our unbending trust in divine providence. It also marks our obvious vote of confidence in the peace and bright future of our dear country. I sincerely salute the organizers for believing in Ghana and positively trusting the goodwill and good sense of Ghanaians to produce a generally free, fair, and safe general election that will sustain the security and stability of our dear nation. By God's grace, the organizers have proven that they are not amongst the people of the proverbial little faith alluded to in the Holy Bible. I deeply thank the organizers and pray for Allah's blessing on them for choosing me to share some thoughts and observations on the theme for this year's convention, namely justice and peace, the true ingredients for national development. Amir Chairman, before I proceed further, kindly permit me to grab this rare opportunity to congratulate President John Dramani Mahama, Ghana's new president, on resurrecting from the ashes of an incinerating 2016 general election defeat to win the 2024 elections in such a titanic manner, in a fashion that could only be attributable to the hand of God in the affairs of Ghana. It is our prayer and hope that the unique lessons of the last elections would guide our new president, and that he will safeguard and uphold the trust the people have so splendidly bestowed on him in an election outcome which has confounded even the most cynical optimist in Ghana. May God be his helper and guide and protect him and his government in the obviously challenging times ahead. Amen. Amir Chairman, the subject of the topic I'm to speak on is extremely vast and wide-ranging, which makes it quite difficult to deal with it comprehensively in our present circumstances and within the allotted time. The subject is, however, of critical importance and very vital and pressing at this time of our nation. Amir Chairman, the issue of justice and peace has been sublimely captured and summarized in a speech by Mirza Masroor Ahmed. May Allah help him with his mighty hand. The current and fifth international head and leader of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim mission, the fifth Khalifa, which is published in his book entitled World Crisis, The Pathway to Peace, which I seek your leave to quote extensively here, and I quote, "The truth is that peace and justice are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. Certainly, this principle is something that all wise and intelligent people understand. Leaving aside those people who are determined to create disorder in the world, no one can claim that in any society, country, or even the entire world, there can be disorder or a lack of peace while justice and fair dealing exist. Nevertheless, we find in many parts of the world that disorder and lack of peace are prevalent. Such disorder is visible both internally within countries and externally in terms of relations between various nations. Such disorder and strife exist even though all governments claim to make policies that are based on justice. All claim that the establishment of peace is their primary objective. Yet in general, there is little doubt that restlessness and anxiety are increasing in the world, and so disorder is spreading. This clearly proves that somewhere along the line, the requirements of justice are not being fulfilled. Therefore, there is an urgent need to try and end inequality wherever and whenever it exists. From the above, it is obvious that justice and peace are a universal construct, an imperative in human development. There cannot therefore be any true and sustainable development in any nation, state or community without a firm foundation of peace and justice being simply put, thereby preventing inequality and inequity. I believe that it is this situation that can minimize agitation and restlessness among the people of any nation, which tend to generate or create violent conflict that undermines stability and national security, thus stultifying the sustainable progress and development of the nation. In this connection, I could not agree more with Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed, may Allah be with him, the late fourth Khalifa, when he assessed in his book Islam's Response to Contemporary Issues that the single most important malady of the world today is the absence of peace. He points out that man has achieved high material progress through science and technology, and yet man is still generally not content or happy, leading to increasing fear, premonition, lack of trust, and dissatisfaction, especially among the younger generation. Amir Chairman, peace, thus, is not just the absence of violent conflict. It is the prevalence of a situation which demotivates negative dissent, the creation of suspicion and disharmony, and the circumstances that trigger conduct which prevents people from living together or otherwise interacting cooperatively to achieve a sanitized environment for the satisfactory welfare and well-being of all. In a speech delivered in Canada on the 22nd of October 2016, the fifth Khalifa and the worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community also rightly declared as follows, and I quote, "Human nature is such that it is impossible for people to agree on everything, and so disagreements will occur from time to time. But the key is to solve these disputes with justice and fairness, rather than prioritize one's own interests above others. To bring any conflict to an end, justice is a prerequisite. If a person is not fair and ethical, then whatever grievance or problem that exists will only increase hatred and contempt." Unquote. Of course, war is the wildest and most open manifestation of violent conflict, which creates the worst disruption of peace and hence undermines the development of any nation. Reverend Ekwenon of Calabar University, Nigeria, has declared that violent conflict is a major hindrance to African development. He says, it inflicts human suffering through death, destruction of livelihoods, constant displacement, and insecurity. It also disrupts the process of production, creates conditions for the pillage of the country's resources, and diverts their application from development purposes to servicing war. Accordingly, peace and justice can only be the essential and rational condition for sustainable and meaningful development, since violence and conflict disrupt productive activity and even destroy what has already been achieved. Amir Chairman, coming closer home, the ongoing Boko chieftaincy conflict, which has been left to fester and has thereby led to the senseless slaughter of many innocent Ghanaian citizens, is a typical example of an ugly spectacle of human conflict, as well as a monstrous evidence of the terrible damage that the want of peace and justice could cause to an important part of our country and hinder development. Millions upon millions of the nation's scarce resources continue to be squandered on the security forces deployed in Boko and its environs in a vain attempt to ensure peace and security. Peace, therefore, connotes the maintenance of a just order in society and the primary resolution of conflict through non-violent means to facilitate the progress of the state. Pope Paul VI once positively declared as follows: "Development is the new name for peace," emphasizing that excessive economic, social, and cultural inequalities among people arouse tensions and conflicts and are a danger to peace. Unquote. It can consequently be argued that development can only exist and expand into sustainable progress of any nation if peace and justice reign, because chaos, tensions, conflict, and war inevitably constitute strictures to improvement and hence lead to less and therefore the underdevelopment of society. What then is development? It has been suggested that development involves the progressive realization of the possible and balanced flourishing of human and natural resources. Accordingly, it may be submitted that the development of a nation may largely consist of the optimum improvement of the human being as a factor of production, as well as the optimum mobilization of human beings so as to practically convert all other available resources for the balanced growth and advancement of a nation in order to achieve the proper and satisfactory welfare and progress of the people in any country. Meeting human needs goes beyond satisfying people's material desires. It includes meeting their physical, mental, spiritual, intellectual, moral, psychological, personal, social, and economic requirements. Development of a country hence implies the advancement and consistent transformation of a country's infrastructural, industrial productivity, as well as its economic and social capacity to facilitate a high living standard for its citizens. Amir Chairman, what about justice? Justice has a dual nature, the formal and informal, direct and indirect. Its informal mode is its more dominant character and consists of the wider society's deep perception of the fair and proper allocation and distribution of the state's resources for the greater good of all society, irrespective of class, color, race, or religion. The formal or direct nature of justice has a more openly structured systemic image, fashioned and operating under the law for the more regulated resolution of conflicts in the country. It is substantially represented by the courts and other bodies or entities acknowledged and recognized for handling disputes and settling conflicts. The Supreme Court is the highest or apex court of Ghana. And at the lowest, we have the District or Magistrate Court, together with other arbitral tribunals. In between this, we have the Court of Appeal, the High Court, and the Circuit Courts. Amir Chairman, Justice Mrs. Mariam Jesse Jauhari, a distinguished Ahmadi Muslim lady who was recently appointed a Justice of the Court of Appeal, has in a lecture delivered after her appointment provided an admirable outline of justice in its more formal form. She stated as follows: justice to the lawyer means the application of the rule of law, that is, the certainty of applying legal rules developed over centuries to resolve disputes between citizens and the citizen and the state. It is also the ethical, philosophical idea that people are to be treated fairly, impartially, properly, and reasonably by the law and by arbiters of the law. That laws are to ensure that no harm befalls another, and that where harm is alleged, remedial action is taken. It may also be defined as a scheme or system of law in which every person receives his or her due from the system, including all rights, both natural and legal. Article 125 of Ghana's 1992 Constitution provides that justice emanates from the people and shall be administered in the name of Ghana by the judiciary, which shall be independent and subject only to the Constitution. Thus, judicial power in Ghana is vested in the judiciary to the exclusion of the executive and the legislature. The judicial power is exercised through the judicial process, which as the judge or magistrate, the lawyer, and court staff as the process that is effectual and brings finality to disputes through the proper enforcement of decisions reached in the courts. Amir Chairman, in the case decided as far back as 1844, a British judge distilled the court process in the manner as follows, and he said, "The court in which we sit is a temple of justice, and the advocates of the bar, the lawyers, as well as the judge upon the bench, are equally ministers in that temple. The object of all equally should be the attainment of justice by the ascertainment of truth through the trial process." He stated further that the frailty of human beings does not make this object always achievable, but the higher objective of advancing justice through the ascertainment of truth should never be forgotten. The foregoing clearly emphasizes that the formal justice enjoined on the courts is a sacred duty imposed on all those involved in the justice delivery process to be guided in their conduct and decision-making by a single-minded determination to follow the path of truth, transparency, accountability, and responsibility in order to ensure fairness, fair play, and uprightness. It is this imperative to do justice, anchored on truth and openness, that has led to the saying that justice must not only be done, but must manifestly be seen to be done. A justice so dispensed trust and optimum confidence in our court system and promote peace and avoid chaos, since it will prevent rampant recourse to self-help among the citizens in the handling of their conflicts and disputes. An openly trustworthy, independent, and transparent court system not only ensures peace in the country, but it also promotes confidence in the international community, thereby ensuring international investment and boosting trade, hence achieving progress in the country. A failing and unreliable court system, perceived to be controlled by the executive and external forces, leads to instability and insecurity in the country and discourages international investment and its retention. It is no wonder that the former Minister of State Security, the Honorable Mr. Kandapa, once had cause to publicly declare that the perceived notion in the country that the courts invariably gave judgment in favor of the government was an existential national security threat. It is therefore troubling that in more recent times, the public's trust and confidence in our judicial system have tumbled. The Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, which should otherwise receive the greatest honor and trust, has of late been derided and mocked by the public, giving it such painful nicknames as the unanimous 7 football club. The people's judgment of our judges and justice delivery system is devastating, with many sometimes uncharitably characterizing our honorable judges and other operatives in the court system as corrupt. A former Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Sophia Akufu, has in a recent observation distressingly characterized the judgments of the Supreme Court as being too predictable. Of late, the image of the judiciary has taken a significant hit. The Ibrahim Index of African Government, IIAG, a key initiative of the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, published every 2 years and receiving maximum international media coverage, provides a statistical measure of government performance in African countries. The IIAG governance framework comprises 4 components, one of which is security and rule of law. The 2024 index stated that Ghana's judiciary had recorded a steep decline in autonomy over the past 8 years, reporting a drop from 100% to 50% in judicial autonomy. The index defines judicial autonomy as the ability of the judiciary to operate free from political pressure or influence. Even more distressing, Chairman, is the Afro Barometer report of 2024. Its survey showed that only 30% of Ghanaians expressed a lot of trust in the courts, with another 22% saying they only somewhat trusted the courts. On the perception of corruption, as high as 44% of the people surveyed felt that most or all of the judges and magistrates were corrupt. Of course, the police topped the list, with even the seat of government performing poorly on the people's perception of them as corrupt and thus unreliable. Whereas most judges may be decent and act according to the dictates of their judicial oaths, and hence not all judgments may be procured through improper considerations, a judicial system that elicits such a high negative perception and image is a gross danger to the progress and development of the nation. Chair, as expressed earlier, justice is a sacred trust. The Holy Quran speaks of absolute justice in terms of the Islamic concept to establish peace and human progress. Speaking on the topic of justice, a prerequisite to a peaceful world, on the 22nd of October 2016, the worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission delivered himself as follows. At many places in the Holy Quran, Allah the Almighty has commanded Muslims about being just and treating others in the best way. In chapter 4, verse 136, the Holy Quran demands the very highest possible standard of justice. It requires that a Muslim should be willing to forego all personal interest for the sake of the truth. Muslims are commanded to put aside their own desires or personal relationships and to be witnesses for the sake of Allah. The verse instructs that a person must be willing to testify against himself, his parents and loved ones in order to establish justice. Islam teaches that a Muslim's first loyalty must always be to the truth, and so one must never hide the facts or give false testimony. A person should never be governed by personal desires, as this leads to bias and prejudice and takes a person away from what is fair and right. Quran chapter 60 verse 91 enjoins not only to speak the truth and be just, but to favor others. Thus the Quran directs that we should do good and not expect reward or recognition, as we do to our kindred. As a mother, for example, treats her infant child, it means a person should offer sympathy and compassion in an altruistic and benevolent spirit. Thus, the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is reported to have stated that one cannot attain faith until he wishes for his brother that which he wishes for himself. That equally underpins the biblical philosophy of doing unto others what one expects to be done to him. This is a sure means to solve the problems of society and our world and transform all forms of hatred into peace, tolerance, and mutual respect. Amir Shaban, the flip side of justice is injustice. A just leader is a blessing to a nation, and by his policies and actions, he promotes national development, peace, and harmony among the people. An unjust leader betrays his trust and pursues policies and actions that bring suffering and strife to his people, thereby ultimately disturbing the peace of his people and leading to the destruction and ruin of his nation. The proper conduct of state actors all over the world helps to ensure justice and peace, and therefore the progress and development of their nation. Corruption, together with mismanagement, constitutes arguably one of the nastiest phases of informal justice in a country and leads to wrong policy formulation or execution, thereby positively undermining the sustainable growth of every society and nation. For many years now, revelations before the Parliament Public Accounts Committee have established staggering evidence of thievery and mismanagement in ministries, departments, assemblies, and other state agencies or organizations. The figures thrown up for each year far exceed the amount of money Ghana goes to the IMF or the World Bank to borrow to support its national programs and development. Yet the culprits walk the streets free, while ordinary folk who steal a bunch of plantain or a tuber of yam are mercilessly prosecuted and sent to jail. That is the nature of our judicial system, of our justice system as a nation. Chairman, I'm told that I have to break my speech and conclude because of time. And so I would want, there are a few things that I wanted to draw attention to. A few red flag developments and occurrences in this country which constitute gross political and socio-economic injustices that have tended to undermine our peace and harmony. But since you say I should end, let me respectfully end by saying that I've drawn the attention to a few rather distressing developments in our country, and I stated that those developments constitute a narrative that reflects the regrettable penchant of Ghanaians to embark on what went wrong at the end of the tenure of successive governments. This, after the event condemnations, may not be the best for our nation. Nonetheless, it is our hope that the new government will take serious lessons from our deplorable recent experiences, which eventually led to the most stunning and scathing manifestation of the ordinary Ghanaian's ultimate sense of justice and self-value in delivering a truly incomprehensible, incredible, and decisive verdict during the 7th December 2024 national elections. The outcome of the 7th December 2024 elections constitutes the clearest and most comprehensive message to the Ghanaian political class and social elite that the ordinary Ghanaian citizen can no longer and should no more ever be taken for granted. The overwhelming votes cast for the new government may be a historical advantage to the new president and his team in government. However, it equally represents a quintessential premonition and clear warning to discard the arrogance of power and impunity, to assume an open and listening ear, to stay focused on pursuing national developmental goals, to cut and resist waste, to be sensitive to the needs and cries of the ordinary Ghanaian, and to mobilize and galvanize the collective energy, confidence and trust of a united Ghana to build the country we want in the troubling times ahead. This is the only way we could say that true and tangible justice has been achieved to promote the peace and development of our dear nation, Ghana. May God bless and protect our dear nation, making us great and strong and a worthy country in the Committee of Nations. I'm Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you and may God bless you abundantly for your enduring patience and kind attention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So when a justice is delivering on a topic justice, you know what to expect. Narrate Takbir. We are still preparing the grounds for the address of our President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And as we know, every year we do invite a few guests, dignitaries from all walks of life to be part or to be here with us to partake in our Jalsa. We have selected a few to deliver fraternal messages, and so I would like to invite Alhaj Kweno, who is our Secretary External Affairs, to come to the podium and invite those who have been selected to deliver these fraternal messages before we finally invite His Excellency to address the gathering.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I call those going to deliver the fraternal messages, I want to first of all introduce to us the MP for the area, who is also a new MP, in the person of Kwame Asari Obey, popularly known as A+. He will just say Salaam Alaikum to us and then he will leave, because we are in this area. Yes, Salaam Alaikum.
In saying Salam Alaikum, I would like to also tell the President that our roads, our roads, our roads. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I want to introduce to you also Nengi Gate, the 7th, Omaini of Eputu Traditional Area and Chancellor of Widiba University of Education, Widiba. Nengi, you are welcome. We also have in our midst Mrs. Shelley Ofori, Manager, National Blood Bank. She is always here every year. We also have Mr. George Amon, Executive Secretary, National Peace Council. But she came with Madame Joanna Adwa Opari, who is also from the National Peace Council. Representing our National Chief Imam and all the Imams, as Amin spoke for the National Muslim Council. The Chief Imam is the embodiment of all the Muslims of Ghana. He has sent his spokesperson in the person of Sheikh Arabi Al-Shwai. He will deliver the peace, the fraternal message of the Chief Imam. Come. Let's welcome him with Takbir.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, we give him thanks and praises. We adore and exalt his name. He is good and holy in fullness and perfection. We ask Allah to bestow his peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad, indeed all the prophets, and all those who tread on the path of righteousness to the day of judgment. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, my good friend and brother, the Amir and missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Maulvi Muhammad bin Saleh, my uncle, Raj Muhammad Risu, whom I have known for a long time, and indeed, let me say, all protocols observed. I want to greet you all with Islamic greetings of love, peace and fraternity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As a messenger, I speak here on the instruction of the eminent National Chief Imam, who has asked me to bring you his warmest felicitation and the best of wishes at this year's Jalsa Salana, which comes 92nd in the series. The Chief Imam has followed the activities of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, and indeed for all of us who are here, we can see clearly how beautiful it is, the order that we are observing, the discipline that we can see in a very distinct manner, that is showing how leadership works effectively within the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, and it's something that we want to place on record. This year's theme, as has been well espoused by the justice, is something that lies at the core of the peace that we desire, not in Ghana alone but across the world. But it's also clear that for us to have sustainable peace in the world, justice is an essential ingredient. But sustainable development also requires that people are in a peaceful environment in which that which they desire by natural justice are provided to them, that helps them to have the satisfaction and to see themselves as part and parcel of a whole nation. And so to choose such a theme is something that resonates with the very virtues, the spirit and teachings of Islam which we must uphold. But justice goes beyond just the confines of the Muslim community. It's a global and universal principle that underpins peace in the world. And so on a time like this, the Chief Imam has asked me to tell you that he solidarizes with you and encourages you and he appreciates the respect that you have accorded him and wish you a very fruitful celebration in this 92nd Jalsa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission. On this note, I want to end up here. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Allah. I also want to bring to your notice that we have Madam Rebecca Colcraft representing the chairperson NCCE, National Commission for Civic Education. Rebecca, we have a number of imams around. The imam from the prison service is here. Then from the Tijaniya we have Sheikh Mustafa Yajala. Ghana Muslim Mission is also here, represented by my brother Ishmael. And then of course our old friend Alhaji Sanda. I don't know whether you'll be introduced by the NDC people or have to introduce you. I invited you anyway.
We'll go ahead and introduce you. We invited you, so introduce you.
Okay, so Sheikh Sanda, let them see you. You are Miss Junior brother too. You are Miss Junior brother, so accept it.
The 92nd Annual National Jalsa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana. Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, distinguished leaders of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana, esteemed dignitaries, Nananum, ladies and gentlemen. I extend warm greetings on behalf of the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, and our chairperson, who deeply regrets her inability to join us today due to other pressing commitments. It is indeed an honor to represent her and read this message on her behalf at this distinguished gathering. On the theme of this year's convention, peace and justice, essential ingredients for national development, resonates deeply with the values that have guided the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission throughout its remarkable history in Ghana. For over a century, the mission has been a beacon of hope, faith, and service, profoundly influencing Ghana's religious, social, and economic development. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission's vision of love for all and hatred for none is a powerful testimony to its unwavering commitment to promoting justice, peace, and social harmony. In Ghana's democratic journey, the mission has played a pivotal role in advancing for tolerance, peace, coexistence, and the pursuit of truth. The mission's emphasis on education as a tool for empowerment, evidenced by the establishment of numerous schools, has shaped generations of Ghanaian leaders and citizens. Additionally, your contributions to healthcare through the Ahmadiyya hospitals and clinics, as well as your humanitarian outreach to the underprivileged, reflect a profound understanding that national development requires a holistic approach. These initiatives have not only enhanced the lives of countless individuals, but have also fostered national cohesion and development. As we move forward as a nation, following the recent elections, it is incumbent upon all of us, leaders, institutions, and citizens alike, to unite for the greater good. Elections may highlight our differences, but our shared commitment to justice, peace, and national development must always take precedence. This is the time to foster reconciliation, dialogue, and collaboration for the benefit of all Ghanaians. The National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, remains committed to collaborating with all stakeholders to deepen civic education, promote inclusivity, and inspire the next generation to uphold the principles of justice and peace. Together with faith-based organizations like the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, we can build a more just, peaceful, and prosperous Ghana. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, the future of Ghana is indeed our collective responsibility. Let us together embrace this shared duty with unwavering resolve, ensuring that justice and peace become not just aspirations, but lived realities in our beloved country. May the deliberations at this convention further illuminate the path towards national unity and sustainable development. Thank you, and God bless us all.
In our midst is a professor from Japan, Professor Dr. Minesaki Hiroku. She is a lecturer in the University of Tokyo, doing research into Ahmadiyya. She has done it for 13 years, traveled to so many places, Kadian, Rabwa, Canada, and today Australia, and today she is here with us. Our legendary people should just congratulate her for us. Finally, before my madam from National Peace Council comes to deliver her address, a statement, I want to call on our Amir of Nigeria, even though I don't have the capacity to invite him, but the Amir. But I had a discussion with him, and he wants to explain something small for us to know what is happening. Amir of Nigeria.
Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, distinguished participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So I have the honor of introducing to us His Royal Highness, the AJ of Ankpa and the Chairman of the Ankpa Traditional Council, and also a member of the National Council of Kings in Nigeria, Dr. Abakar Ahmed Yakubu, to please come and deliver his talk.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. Your Excellency, Mr. President John Dramani Mahama, my dear brother, in whom we are well pleased. Amir, I am delighted to be here today. As I promised a few weeks ago in Lagos when I attended the Jalsa Salana of Nigeria, that I will be here today. And Allah has brought us. And I remember telling you something. I said, I'll be attending the swearing in of Mr. President. And you said to me, Mr. President will also be on ground. I said, well, mashallah. So, Mr. President, we really appreciate your coming. Even though I'm in your tough, but I'm your big brother, you know, Nigeria. So, Jalsa Salana, if I have a little history of it from my own end, I think I've been attending Jalsa Salana based in London and Lagos for the past 20 years of my life. I used to attend this Jalsa Salana with my late dad, who was the king then, but Allah has brought me here for 3 years now. I am the king and I will continue from where he stopped. And the last Jalsa Salana I attended in London last year, I went with my son, and I was telling the Amir of Nigeria, this is how I started coming with my dad, and today I'm coming. So maybe that legacy will be passed on to my son. Allah knows best. So for me, there's these things I talk about. We need to pray for our leaders. You have a good man as the president of Ghana today. Him coming back for the second time, that means you Ghanaians trust him once again. Mr. President, this trust shouldn't go for granted, please. You should give Ghanaians what they want. I know you are a good man. As kings, we can't go into politics, but when you meet a good man, you always talk about him. The first time I met him, that was before the election. I met him in Nigeria, and I said to him, we will pray for you. And I made a promise that I was going to go to Umrah in October last year, and I did, and I prayed to Allah, and today this is where you are. And I'm so happy. Even the Amir talked about you were here last year, and you seek for prayers, and you even went up to the Huzur in London, and today Allah has accepted that prayer. So don't take it for granted. It is a godsend that you are, and you must deliver those messages that Allah has brought you to do. Thank you for having me. Enjoy your Jalsa Salana. Thank you very much.
Jamaat Ahmadiyya Nigeria.
Finally, Auntie Juana, I'm directed to give you only 3 minutes. Auntie Juana.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, the Emir and missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Ghana, my brother and friend Movi Mohammed bin Sali, the elders and esteemed members of the leadership of the National Democratic Congress herein gathered, esteemed members of the leadership of the Ahmadiyya Mission in Ghana, members of Parliament, civil society representatives, distinguished guests, the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good but warm afternoon to all of you. It is indeed an honor for me to be invited to join you for this very august annual event and to be called upon to deliver a statement on behalf of the National Peace Council. I am also especially excited to see my Ahmadiyya women here once again, and I know they will help us to carry the torch of peace and also help promote justice as we move on in this new era. Ladies and gentlemen, let me, on behalf of the chairman of the National Peace Council, express the gratitude of the Council to all Ghanaians for the manner in which we conducted ourselves in the 2024 December elections. Once again, the board also congratulates especially
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and his Vice, Professor J. Nana Opukwa-Jimanu, for their election to the high offices of the President and Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, respectively. Movi Chair, today the talk again is about peace. But before I speak about peace and what we do, in a few minutes, I want to express the gratitude of the National Peace Council to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Ghana for their financial support to the Council in our time of need ahead of the 2024 elections. We work with very little resources, so when they came to our help, I said, wow, Movi and the mission, thank you very much. We also thank them for the partnership with the Peace Council over the years. Indeed, the mission has been one of the pioneering members of the governing board of the National Peace Council, and I'm happy that Movi bin Sali, the Emir, is serving his third term as an eminent member of the board. Ladies and gentlemen, the title for today, or the theme, Justice and Peace, the essential ingredients for national development, could not have been chosen at a more appropriate time. Indeed, we cannot hope for sustainable development without peace, stability, and justice in our society. Peace, we all know, is a prerequisite for sustainable development, so we must all do what it takes to promote it as we embark on a new journey to ensure that we take back our garment as the Star of Africa. The object of the Peace Council, ladies and gentlemen, is to facilitate and develop mechanisms for conflict prevention, management and resolution, and to build sustainable peace in the country. Our work is mainly that of mediation and negotiation, and we do so a lot behind the scenes. I am therefore happy to report that in addition to all the numerous things we did before the December elections, we partnered with key institutions to organize the signing of the 4th Peace Pact, where all the contesting presidential candidates pledged for a peaceful process and adhered to their promise. Thank you, Mr. President. During the elections, we also partnered with very meaningful organizations to monitor the situation across the country. We reported on progress of proceedings and alerted the responsible organizations to act whenever necessary. We are still working. The country is currently dealing with over 700 cases in all the 16 regional councils. Therefore, today's topic is still very, very important to us. In the quest for promoting peace and demanding justice, we need to eschew harmful practices such as hate speech, discrimination, and conflicts. In this vein, it is instructive to learn from Pope Paul VI, who once said, "If you want peace, work for justice." So I stand here to say that the Peace Council will continue to promote peace and push for justice. I will end quickly by appealing to all of us here that let us rise no matter our gender, tribe, or religion, and be champions of peace and justice. May the good Lord richly bless our President and his team and endow them greatly with the wherewithal to lead this country to a better place in the global market. May God bless the Ahmadiyya mission and our homeland Ghana and make all of us great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We have come to a very important item on the program. That indeed is the climax. When His Excellency arrived, we all witnessed the excitement. And indeed, we deserve to be excited. We went into these elections peacefully. We conducted ourselves peacefully. We came out of the elections peacefully. And we have sworn in our president peacefully. The president has arrived here peacefully, and that is why Islam stands for peace. And so on this peaceful note, I would like to invite His Excellency, our beloved President, John Dramani Mahama, to address us. The list.
Take this. Thank you very much. I want to get my protocols right, that's why I had to get this little slip of paper. Thank you very much. Our Maulana Nur Alhaji Muhammad bin Salih, the Amir and missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission, our national chairman, the Honorable Johnson Asedun Ketia, also known as General Mosquito, Alhaji Muhammad Idrisu, Chairman of the Council of Elders of the NDC, Alhaji Isa Abdul Wahab Naib, Alhaji Isa Abdul Wahab Naib and First Deputy Amir, Alhaji Ahmed Suleiman Anderson, Second Deputy Amir, His Lordship Alhaji Justice Said Kwekujan, Third Deputy Amir, who just gave us a very beautiful statement. Sheikh Arim Yao, representative of the National Chief Imam. Auntie Joanna, representative of the Chairman of the National Peace Council. Nenyi Gate, the 7th Paramount Chief of the Ifudu traditional area, and our royal invited guest, His Majesty Alhaji Dr. Abubakar Ahmed Yakubu II, the Eje of Akban traditional area and coordinator of North Central Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, Alhaji Alatoye Folurunsho Abdulaziz, the Emir of Ahmadiyya Mission in Nigeria, and Bisiru Mohammed Lukuma Adio, the Emir of Ahmadiyya Mission in Benin, congregants of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, I wish all of you Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It is with profound gratitude to the Almighty Allah that I join you once again on this day at this very important event. It is significant to note that this is my first public engagement and is taking place just 48 hours after being sworn in as president of our great nation. I'm therefore very delighted to be meeting with you. Let me take this opportunity through you once again to say thank you to the people of Ghana for the confidence reposed in me to once again lead this dear nation of ours. I want to also thank you for the warm welcome I always get when I attend the Jalsa. As Maulana Nur said, I was on these very holy grounds last year, and I sought your prayers and your support to be able to achieve the desire that we all had on our hearts. And Allah listened to our supplications, and today it has become the reality. And so I've come back to these holy grounds to say thank you to you and thank you to Allah for His blessings on us. This occasion marks the 92nd annual Jalsa Salana of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Ghana, and it's a profound reminder of the values we hold dear: justice, peace, and unity. And today's theme, rightfully, is justice and peace, the essential ingredients for national development. And this does not only reflect these values, but is at the same time thought-provoking. As I return to these sacred grounds of Bagi Ahmed, that is the Garden of Ahmad, I'm filled with a deep sense of belonging. This, the Ahmadi community's remarkable ability to convene such large gatherings with such breathtaking harmony and discipline, is an inspiring testament to the ideals of order and unity. These ideals are principles that are in short supply in our nation today, and it is important for our nation to emulate the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission. To emulate the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission, especially as we navigate the challenges that lie ahead of us as a country. Before I proceed, I wish to first and foremost extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Almighty Allah for the blessings He has bestowed on Ghana. With another peaceful and successful general election, the trust that Ghanaians have placed in me is both humbling and inspiring, and I recognize the weight of this responsibility my fellow countrymen have put on my shoulders. I'm particularly grateful for the prayers and support of Maulana Nur and the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, the National Chief Imam, and religious leaders across all faiths. Your spiritual guidance and unshakable commitment to Ghana's peace and progress have been invaluable. Amir Chairman, my brothers and sisters, last year during my visit to London, I had the privilege of meeting His Holiness Khalifatul Masih the Fifth Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. His wife's counsel and prayers were very important, and they continue to inspire me as I take on the immense responsibility of leading this nation. His sharp memory of his days in Ghana was remarkable, and his understanding of Ghanaian culture and tradition was very impressive. I came away after spending almost 3 hours with him, very impressed at his leadership of the Ahmadiyya faith. Justice and peace are the bedrock of our national aspirations. And as the Holy Quran reminds us in Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 135, we are called to uphold justice even against ourselves. This powerful mandate also underscores the necessity of impartiality and fairness in governance. Justice must always not only be done, but must be seen to be done and must be felt by all. Justice is a moral compass that must guide our every decision, every law, and every interaction in our nation. To this end, the new NDC administration is resolutely committed to strengthening our justice system to ensure judicial independence and address the systemic inequalities that currently exist. I can assure you that this administration will work tirelessly to ensure that every Ghanaian, regardless of your status or background, is treated with dignity and afforded equal protection under the law. Amir, Chairman, my brothers and sisters, to achieve this objective of justice, we would have to move the stalled constitutional review process forward. To achieve this, I would soon establish a committee to begin the planning of a national constitutional review validation conference to achieve broad consensus on the way forward for the constitutional amendments that we have all proposed. My brothers and sisters, similarly, peace is a divine blessing of God, but it requires a concerted effort to maintain. And as Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us, peace is the foundation upon which communities flourish. In this vein, our government will prioritize dialogue over unilateralism. We shall build consensus as we move along together. We shall encourage religious harmony and engage leaders across all faiths to continue to promote mutual understanding. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community's inspiring motto, and I quote, "Love for all and hatred for none," is a powerful example of this kind of peace and unity that we must strive to achieve as a nation. It is a call to action for every Ghanaian to contribute to a just and peaceful society. Amir, Chairman, we are assuming office at a critical time in our nation's history. Ghana is faced with significant challenges, but that is exactly the reason why you elected us. We will transparently let you understand what those challenges are, and we will take responsibility for solving them. The Reset Agenda presents our collective commitment to restoring good governance, achieving economic stability and creating opportunities for all. And that is exactly what we shall do. It is our blueprint for national progress and will not waver in its implementation. Let me give you examples of some of the challenges we face immediately. For instance, a planned shutdown of the West African gas pipeline was supposed to take place in October last year. At the intervention of this government, it was postponed till January. This is a long delayed maintenance and has to be urgently done. But what it means is that there will be no gas available for all our generating plants in the east of Ghana, that is the Tema Enclave, because it will have curtailed the gas coming from Nigeria and the gas that comes in the reverse flow from our gas processing plants in the west. So it means that the thermal generating plants in the thermal enclave would have no access to gas. And normally, to forestall blackouts because of the loss of almost 2,000 megawatts of power, we have to make provision for fuel. And this is light crude oil, heavy fuel oil, and distillate fuel. Unfortunately, enough provision was not made for this eventuality. When the fuel arrives, it takes time to import it, 3 weeks to place an order and get it delivered. And when it arrives, you have to treat the fuel for another week and a half to make it ready for use in the generating plants. And so there's a threat of power outages. But my brothers and sisters, don't despair. Like I said, you elected us to solve the problems, not to put the blame on anybody else or to shoulder you with those problems. And so yesterday I called a meeting of all the stakeholders in the electricity value chain. And they have been sitting since yesterday to today to come out with innovative solutions so that we're able to keep the lights on. And so I can assure you, with some of the ideas they've come up with, we would make sure that your lights stay on and that we do not have doomso, as you popularly call it. Amir Chairman, education is the cornerstone of national progress. And to this end, as promised, while strengthening basic education, we will sustain and enhance the free SHS policy so that we gain the benefits that it is intended to bestow. We will address challenges such as overcrowding to ensure quality education at all levels. Our plans also include free tuition for first-year students entering public tertiary institutions, the completion of abandoned e-blocks, and investments to provide equitable learning opportunities nationwide and across the whole education value chain. These initiatives will empower our youth with the skills needed to excel in a rapidly changing world. We shall emphasize technical vocational education and training so that we can produce the skilled manpower that is needed for business and industry. I'm going to set up a planning committee to start working on the National Education Review Conference that I promised. This conference will review our educational system right from the kindergarten through the basic to secondary to tertiary to technical vocational education, and identify what the hindrances to quality education are at each level of our educational system. I believe that this conference will come out with new ideas in order to provide us the outcomes that we need as a nation. Amir Chairman, a key focus of our administration is economic revitalization, as I said in my inaugural speech. This is going to be our immediate priority. How to stabilize our economy, bring down inflation, stabilize our currency, and run the economy in a transparent and accountable manner. Through a homegrown fiscal policy, we intend to alleviate the economic strain on citizens by removing some of the burdensome taxes and prioritize efficient revenue generation. It's our intention to capture more of the informal sector into the tax net so that we can fairly share the burden and incidence of taxation. The 24-hour economy policy, inspired by and tailored on global success models, will play a strategic role in this endeavor. This transformative initiative will create sustainable jobs modernize our economy, and unlock Ghana's growth potential. In addition to this, healthcare is another urgent focus of our administration. We will prioritize investments in infrastructure and human resources to ensure accessible quality medical care. We shall continue abundant health projects and operationalize them as key steps towards expanding healthcare access nationwide. My brothers and sisters, let me at this stage commend and congratulate the women of Ghana for the historic achievement in electing for the first time a female as the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. By this action, we have broken the first glass ceiling to allow our women to progress even to the highest offices of the land. But there still remains one ceiling, and that is a concrete ceiling. And I assure you that myself and Professor Jane Nana Opokwajiman are going to work to break the concrete ceiling so that the next generation of women can follow and aspire even to the presidency of this country. Amir, Chairman, my brothers and sisters, good governance is the foundation upon which a nation's progress rests. In this light, transparency, accountability, and ethical leadership will define this administration. We shall pass a code of conduct for our office holders, and they will strictly abide by that code of conduct. We shall carry out comprehensive audits in order to establish what the situation of our state-owned enterprises and parastatals are. We shall operationalize the Operation Recover All the Loot and investigate persons we believe have engaged in misappropriation of public property and pursue them to recover such property. We will strengthen the institutions of accountability, that is the anti-corruption institutions, in order to ensure that public trust is restored. The Reset Agenda is a call to action for every Ghanaian to join in building a nation where justice, peace, and progress will flourish. It is imperative that we work together. I urge the Ahmadiyya Muslim community to continue its invaluable contribution to our education, healthcare, and social services in partnership with government. Together we can overcome obstacles and create a brighter future for all. Amir Chairman, on behalf of the people of Ghana, I express my deepest gratitude to your Muslim community for its steadfast commitment to Ghana's socio-economic development. Your schools, your hospitals, your humanitarian initiatives through humanity first exemplify what is possible when compassion is combined with action. Last year, as I stood on this ground, in my conversation with the Amir, I came to the realization that these holy grounds were formerly the well-known state-owned Pomadze poultry farm. And when I stood at the podium, I promised you that if God answered our heart's desire and I'm elected president, I will work with your Ahmadiyya Muslim mission to restore the Pomadze poultry farm back to its days of glory. I want us to work to make the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission one of the biggest supplier of chicken in this country. I intend to keep that promise I made, and I've already whispered to the Amir some of the steps that I have started taking. This farm will become an example and would lead the way to encourage other faith-based organizations to realize that they can go into income-generating projects, both to generate funds for the missions and also to provide jobs for their congregants. It will encourage faith-based organizations to look into income-generating projects, especially in the agribusiness space. And so, Maulana Noor, you will soon be hearing from me. You'll receive some visitors who will come and start working with you on the feasibility study. And soon I'll be your ambassador to look for the funding to be able to establish this objective that we have set ourselves. Maulana Noor, my brothers and sisters, with the support of the people of Ghana, coupled with the dedication of our administration and the blessings of the Almighty Allah, I'm confident that Ghana's brightest days are ahead of us, not behind us. Together we shall reset Ghana and build a nation whose fruits of justice, peace and prosperity will benefit all of us. Let us come together and build the Ghana we all want. May Allah guide our efforts and bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you for your kind attention.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The session has not yet come to an end. His Excellency, like Amir observed earlier on, has just been sworn in. There are very, very important engagements he is to undertake for and on behalf of this country. So the Amir directed that we request him to deliver his speech so that he can go and attend to other important issues for this our dear nation. The Amir will see him off and will continue with the program until the Amir comes back for the session to end properly. So, Amir sir, probably you may have to say a few words in gratitude to the President, if you are okay to that.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Indeed, we should count ourselves lucky and we should be proud of ourselves that our platform is the very first platform that has been created for our newly sworn-in president to interact with the people of Ghana. After the swearing-in ceremony, which was a formality, this is the very first real interaction with the head of state with his compatriots. We are indeed very grateful that he gave us this opportunity. Like I said earlier, the fact that he's really very, very tight. I know the whole of yesterday they were held up in meetings. He's alluded to it. And right now as he sits here, he wants time to be able to get to Accra and get to the International Conference Center to engage IMF officials to discuss very, very pertinent issues that have got to do with the welfare of each and every one of us here. It is therefore just right that what we have got of him now should be enough. It's even more than enough And we should be happy, grateful to Allah that he came, and then allow him to go and continue with the other work. As he goes, in a reiteration, I want him to understand that without any iota of exaggeration, he has the very, very solid support of all Muslims in this country. I keep mentioning Muslims because that is the front that I represent and where I belong. But I can assure you that my interaction with my other colleagues, religious leaders, Christians as well, they are on the same wavelength. And therefore our president has the goodwill of the people of this country. I would want to assure you, for and on his behalf, I'm not his spokesman, not his spokesperson, but I've known him over a period. I want to assure you with the sincerity in him, the humility, the politeness in him. I want to assure you that he would not make a promise, a pledge, which he would not be ready to fulfill. At least he knows he has people like me in his backyard who will take him on for not fulfilling some of those pledges, or who will not meet some of the utterances and statements that he's made anywhere in public. Let us all continue to remember him in our prayers. That's the best that we can do for him. As far as helping to do it is in the hands of the Almighty Allah. If we give him our support and prayers, rest assured that we'll go places, inshallah. I want to thank you once more, and we leave you in the hands of the Almighty Allah, that he continues to protect you, and bless each and every effort of yours. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming. We are grateful. What?